it's as prohibitive or competitive as your build. So the screens have tremendous variance in what their pricing is based on their capabilities, as do the media players. How complicated do you want your content to be? It can be from very, very basic to inordinately expensive. So there's something for every single price point. And for us to integrate that and ship it to you is really a nominal fee. That's all done in Chicago as well. I should say Aurora, outside of Chicago, where we're doing all the bending of the metal. So the folks that we talk to that want to immediately deploy from this show are all new customers. So many folks from so many different walks at so many different companies have been charged with digital signage deployments. And if you can make it this simple for them, more and more folks are going to take advantage of it because they're less intimidated by it. It's not our intent to compete with any of the manufacturing or partners from the screens, the media players at all. In fact, we are now a customer of theirs, and we drive business to them for the first time. So if anything, we've increased our value proposition to them rather than competing with them. We jumped ahead on you. That's it. That is our next big thing. It's not the strongest or the smartest that survive, right? It's those that are most adept to change. And so you've got all of these variations of deployed networks that exist everywhere. And you have to embrace the mobile technology. You cannot view that as a threat. So you have to find ways to meaningfully have whatever your current infrastructure is, communicate with people. Because what the mobile device has done is it's allowed infinite personalization of whatever content is being displayed. Something that was as groundbreaking as a QR code was 3 or 4 years ago is now significantly less so, because it requires more physical action in terms of downloading a QR player or going to a specific website which is launched through the QR code, whereas now there's a variety of applications that are included into smart devices where you literally walk up and touch, and it understands who you are and what you're meaningfully look to get from that content. So I think increasingly you're going to see those capabilities exploited by existing infrastructures to, again, more personalize and make more relevant the content that's being played. Because it's the function of digital signage not to replace human interaction, but to make human interaction much more relevant and much more productive. Let's put it this way. Touch in some form or fashion is definitely here to stay. Is physically touching an item here to stay? That remains to be seen. Gesture-based touch may be where everything goes now. We'll have to see. But touch in some root form is definitely here to stay. I think it's happening as we speak, and I think it's happening on a level that if you blink, you're going to miss. I was one of the last converts to the iPhone. I had a BlackBerry, and it was an earlier generation BlackBerry, and my 4-year-old daughter at the time walked up and picked up my BlackBerry and tapped the screen 3 times and said, "Daddy, your phone is broken," and tried to hand it back to me because even her children's toys were touch enabled. And so we have an entire generation of people that will know nothing but that. And it's sort of our burden to make sure that we keep up with the technology that's designed, again, not only to personalize, that we covered briefly on your last question, but to make much more meaningful those interactions. So if you have to go into your refrigerator, why not note that you're out of milk or out of something else? So interact with your refrigerator so that you don't have separate initiatives to go grocery shopping, do this, do that, have that dump into a grocery list that goes to either Peapod and it gets delivered, or downloads to your personal device so that when you go to the store it's there. So again, it's not replacing traditional human interactions, it's making them much more productive and much more specific and personalized. We are not specifically in content. We have
content partners.
We have content partners, right? And there again, that's why we're not competing with them. We have content partners that will develop it and we will incorporate it into our kiosks. We do not intend to ever get into the content development business. We do not ever intend to be making standard displays for regular deployment purposes. That's not our wheelhouse, and we're much happier to give that business to our partners. Actually, I think we've covered it, right? You have to make it much less administratively cumbersome, and the content has to be relevant. Even 3 years ago, when you had me speaking at one of your forum events, we had talked about passive versus interactive digital signage. And I think that the noise that you reference comes more from passive, because it's not specified, it's not personalized, and so it's less meaningful for the people that it's intended to interact with. And I think a number of those legacy systems are, as we speak, being updated to interact with those mobile devices, as we had alluded to, so that that content can reach its target audience much more effectively. The only other thing that we're getting into very, very meaningfully beyond the kiosk program is wireless. We really believe that wireless is the future of digital signage deployments. And the reason that we believe that is because, again, in a constant effort to be disruptive in the way that technology is shown, traditional retailers are re-merchandising their stores on a level that we've never seen before. And one of the biggest barriers to them doing that rapidly or cost effectively is hardwired solutions. And so we have a variety of new wireless solutions that we featured here, including our Pico Broadcaster, which takes advantage of open white space channels. And so it has a 350-foot effective range, 360 degrees, to an infinite number of TVs. So what does that mean to you? It means if you're a furniture store, for example, that wants to run content on 75 TVs in your furniture store, you can do that now with the Pico Broadcaster. In a month's time, when you want to change the vignettes, you can do that, provided that there's 110 power, because you don't have to worry about running any of the content to any of those displays anymore. And I think you're going to start to see that in a litany of different applications. So if you want a 3x3 video wall cart and you're a clothing store, and you want to bark people into your store, you can now roll that out front and change your content as often as you would like to get people in the store. And again, as long as there's power for the monitors, you're good to go. The sky is the limit within the 350-foot range. And so again, we wanted to increase the flexibility of deployments so that technology can be redeployed within the same setting an infinite number of times without them having to worry about getting the signal there. We're very, very pleased and proud to be here. Wanted to be very, very out there about the fact that we've brought the manufacturing jobs back, and almost all of the solutions you see in our booth are made in the United States now. So we wanted to be as loud as possible. I'd say we accomplished that. We increased our footprint pretty significantly this year because the transition of Peerless from a mounting company to an AV company is now complete. We have true video offerings. We have an interactive kiosk program that we launched at this show, which actually was the fruits of your forum events. When we started the forum events, we were principally a mounting solutions provider. And what we learned from speaking to the end users about digital signage deployment, and this was reproducible across all of the forum events, is that nobody was looking for one specific component of the rollout. They were looking for somebody to help them with all of the components of the rollout. And so the minute that they realized that our role in that deployment was limited to either the kiosk frame or the mounting solution, you almost saw the light switch go off and they began looking to the next table to see who could help them with that. And as a result of that, it occurred to us that nobody was the soup to nuts provider of a fully integrated kiosk. And so we already meaningfully play in all the channels with all of the major OEM partners. And so we contacted them to see if they would be interested in becoming members of our kiosk preferred providers. And they were. And so now what you can do is literally order either just the shell from us, which we've been able to reproducibly do for some time, but what's very new is we have a kiosk builder. And so if, say, DSE wanted to buy 3 kiosks for your headquarters, you log onto the kiosk builder, you select the orientation, portrait, landscape, on wall, freestanding. You select the screen manufacturer that you would like in the kiosk. You select the content player. You select the developer of the content, and we will integrate all of those things into the kiosk along with the media player. We will make sure that the handshakes are all correct. We will palletize it and we will ship it to you ready to go. This is where Peerless-AV comes, to get connected with our customers and to make the digital signage market aware of our latest innovations.